Hello seekers, welcome to Punneit's Astrology, your one-stop astro channel. Mercury, the planet of communication, is going to behave in a weird fashion for the next few days. Mercury is in the sign of Taurus, and Mercury will move to the sign of Gemini on the day of lunar eclipse. In fact, just before lunar eclipse, Mercury will exit out to the 8th house from the position of Moon. It tries to escape itself from the axis of Rahu and Ketu and joins the hand with Mars, which is already placed comfortably in the sign of Gemini. But exactly 4 days later, on 30th of May, Mercury will go retrograde. And as soon as Mercury go retrograde, it has not even reached or crossed 1 degree, even before 40-45 minutes of transit, it starts retrograding. It doesn't even complete 1 degree in Gemini. So it's like it went to Gemini, step a leg, and then he is beginning to retreat. That means it's like as if Mercury forgot something in the sign of Taurus. There's a completely unfinished task, or it was a quick examination done, or it was as if Mercury went to take something in Gemini and now it is coming back. It's just an analogy. Now, when Mercury is going to come back on 30th of May, very quickly, it will move in the sign of Taurus. And I will just show you on the screen how it is going to move. So on the screen, you see that this is the position of Mercury on 26th of May, and Mercury is approximately at 2 minutes of Gemini. That means Mercury moved out of the sign of Taurus, and when Mercury moved out, you can see the eclipse being formed in the sign of Scorpio. Now, exactly on 30th of May, Mercury is going retrograde at exactly around 33 minutes. That means Mercury has just entered the sign of Gemini. So here you see, I will show you, on 26th of May 2021, Mercury moved out of the sign of Taurus, and now Mercury is in the sign of Gemini. Mercury finds Mars in the sign of Gemini, but Mars is quite far, around 26 minutes away. So it's like Mercury is here while Mars is here. There's a huge distance between Mercury and Mars in this particular zodiac. But this is the zodiac sign ruled by Mercury. It's like it's Mercury's own home, and Mercury is definitely quite comfortable in the sign of Gemini. But this comfort of the home is not going to stay for long, because exactly on 30th of May, Mercury becomes retrograde. By this time, Venus has already crossed over and Venus has moved into the sign of Taurus. So now Mercury goes retrograde. And on the other hand, you see that day Mercury is going retrograde, you have Sun and Rahu combination at a very close degree. On the other hand, after few days of Mercury retrogression, Mercury moves into the sign of Taurus only on 3rd of June. That means just 8 days. For 8 days, Mercury stays in the sign of Gemini. Half of the time it is direct, and the first half it's direct, and the second half it's retrograde, and it goes back to the sign of Taurus. Now, while Mercury has moved to the sign of Taurus, by this day, Sun would have crossed Rahu. So now Rahu is at a lower degree and Sun is at a higher degree. That means Sun is moving towards Gemini while Rahu is moving towards Aries. Now they are separating apart, and Mercury is approaching Sun. How? If you have to observe, if this is Rahu at 16 degree, if this is Sun at 18 degree, this is Mercury who has just entered through retrogression 29 degrees. So Mercury is moving like this, Sun is moving like this, and Rahu has a direction like this. So Rahu is now going away, Sun is approaching towards Mercury, and Mercury is approaching towards Sun, and all this information is being given from the sign of Gemini. Another episode that happens, another event that happens during this time is that Mars goes out of Gemini and goes into the house of debilitation. Mars goes into the Cancer zodiac sign. So definitely a lot of events are happening just within a short span of 8 to 10 days. One eclipse, retrogression, crossing the sign by Mercury, Venus crosses the sign, Sun crosses over Rahu, separation between Sun and Rahu increases, Mars crosses the zodiac from Gemini to Cancer and becomes debilitated. So many events are happening by this time. Meanwhile, Saturn is definitely running retrograde comfortably. Now, on the other hand, if you see, Mercury is going to stay in the sign of Taurus for quite some time. So now you see that Mercury is going to stay in the sign of Taurus in the retrograde form till 23rd of June. So from the first week of June, from 3rd of June till 23rd of June, Mercury is retrograde, and you see how close Mercury is now coming to Rahu. So while Mercury ends retrogression, the distance of Mercury and Rahu will be hardly 6 degrees, 6 to 7 degrees. Now, this close proximity is like Rahu is going backward, Mercury approaches Rahu, stops, and now Mercury is going away. But now when Mercury goes away, Mercury is moving towards Surya, Sun, which has already made its transit during the mid of June to the sign of Gemini. So this is a very unique movement that is happening. Mercury is kind of oscillating between Sun and Rahu and Mars. So Mercury initially approaches the Sun, then crosses the Sun, goes near to Rahu, then goes back. This is quite, you can say, a weird formation by Mercury. On the other hand, Mercury continues to stay in the sign of Taurus till 7th of July. So it's a very long stay in the sign of Taurus. The entire month of June and the first full week of July, Mercury will be in the Taurus. And then Mercury crosses over finally on 7th of July from Taurus to Gemini. Now let's quickly understand the real picture and the real essence of this transit. Mercury is the planet of communication. Mercury is the planet which is a messenger. Mercury is a planet which is very unique, and we often ignore this particular planet. And we know that today's world is the world of information warfare. So when Mercury, the planet of information, goes in front of Mars and goes back to Sun and Rahu, it definitely means that this has to deal with your defense. This has to deal with your secrets. This has to deal with reforms made in telecommunication sector, reforms that will be made in the form of defense. And this may also mean that information and technology sector will take a change, and they have to comply to few rules, few new subjects of they will be subjected to few new laws, and this is going to be very difficult for Mercury to handle, because Mercury is a communication planet. It communicates or relays information from one side to the other side. But what is happening now, when Mercury is in the sign of Gemini, it's not going to stay there for long. It's like somebody is at the door, and after knocking the door, they are going back as if nobody opened the door. Why will Mercury do this? That too in its own house. This particular transit is happening to relay the information to Sun, because Sun is the planet which is going to go under solar eclipse during this time. And Sun, while Mercury goes into the sign of Taurus, Mercury will be able to relay the information to Sun, because now Mercury and Sun are approaching towards each other. This means definitely when Mars is your strength and Mercury's communication, the eclipse is going to change your mind. The eclipse is going to create some sort of transformation. The eclipse is going to hit your soul. The eclipse is going to hit your identity. And also it can be a prestige issue. It can be a matter of ego. It can be a matter of pride. And those areas will be hit in your life. You may feel that you are not confident. You may feel that things are not happening as per you desired. You may feel insecure during this time. Fight with father, fight with government may happen. Fight over properties can happen because of the Venus Rahu Sun combination. There can be some domestic issues also. And Mars is your courage. Mars is your strength. Mars is your desire. So on the day Mercury moves to Gemini, Mars has relayed the information. See, Mars shifts the energy to Mercury, goes to debilitation, and just before it goes to debilitation, Mercury goes into his house, possibly captures the energy of Mars, and then relays back to the Sun. So this is like an information exchange between Mars and Sun before Mars goes debilitated. That means definitely your energies are getting much more matured. And that matured energy, that matured understanding will be giving necessary support to the changes that you think you are going to bring because of the effects of eclipse. Now, eclipse is going to definitely bring a lot of changes in your mind, and when the Mercury is going to relay that information to you, this one particular movement gives you one chance to understand your strength and your weakness. Because when Mars is in Mercury, communication of strength is possible, but when Mars goes into Cancer, it becomes emotional. It is now under direct aspect of Saturn. So definitely it starts losing its strength, it starts losing its power, and Mars goes to vacation. So this time, Sun takes all the responsibility, and wherever the sign of Leo is in your horoscope, that is going to gain a lot of strength. Why? Because not only Sun gets the information or power of Mars, on the other hand, Jupiter also aspects the sign of Leo. When Jupiter aspects the sign of Leo, Leo gets a lot of strength. So Sun, which was going very close to Rahu, just went to eclipse, is now going out of the eclipse. There is a recharge happening for the Sun. Sun is gaining the strength, your soul is gaining the strength, the necessary change, the idea is already here, and now the implementation plan is also on the table. So definitely this is a very creative time. It can change your life. It can create a very small subtle event that can suddenly trigger a series of events, a chain reaction in your life. And what you have to do, you have to closely monitor all these days. So from 26th of May till 7th of July is the time frame that you have to carefully monitor. Each day, every day, the information must be recorded and registered in your own brain. Sometimes you will feel lethargy, sometimes you will feel disconnected, because when Mercury goes retrograde, mind gets disconnected. On the other hand, Venus goes into Adra, which is also not a positive position for Venus. When Venus goes into Adra, relationship takes a hit. You don't know how to react, you don't know how to behave, you don't know how to present yourself. This is a chaotic situation. But because Mercury is handing over the Martian energy to the Sun, soul knows, you know what to do. All you have to do is actually execute it in a very constructive, positive, and well thought manner. If you take a random step, if you think about Rahu, then definitely Rahu will be alone with Mercury, and that can corrupt the information. While Mercury transits very close to Rahu and then goes back, remember, from Mrigashira, Mercury goes to Rohini Nakshatra. That means from the perspective of finances, from the perspective of career, from the perspective of proving yourself, proving your identity to the world, doing something for yourself or for your family, this is the best time. But don't take a leap of faith. Take a well-balanced judgment and understanding both your pros and cons, understanding your capacity, because this is the time to understand your capacity. When the king is getting the information from the Mars, king knows the strength of his soldier, the strength of his army. Then king will act accordingly. And when Sun moves into the house of Gemini, Gemini is 11th from Leo. So Leo is already gaining the strength from Jupiter, and it is also getting the strength from the house of the Sun. So Gemini is getting a lot of power. Communication industry will definitely take a hit, and they will have to take a lot of reforms. Information technology sector will have to undergo a lot of reforms. That particular section, media section, internet, that area is going to see some tremendous amount of technology advancements, and implementation of new technology can happen. Something new can come up in the world that will become more and more, you can say, popular and available to the general public in the future. Whatever happens, you have to maintain your peace, you have to maintain your calm, and because Mercury is in Mrigashira, the thoughts will be all over the place. Anything and even a drop of pen can be hurting your sentiments, and you will be very sensitive to information. At this time, praying to Lord Ganesha is going to be of great help, and remembering the Shakti that you carry, the strength that you carry, the power that you have, and always remember why you started in the first place. Don't give up, because this is the transit where you can give up. Thinking, changing of the plan can be fruitful. See, this is the transit of change. Change is inevitable, but it's your responsibility to have that change in your favor. Because if the change happens, but the change doesn't produce any result, then Rahu will have the last laugh. Now, because Rahu is exalted in the sign of Taurus, and while Mercury was moving and retrograding, Venus was in the sign of Taurus. Venus is that Guru. Venus-Rahu combination was trying to make everything corrupt. But when Mercury relays and everything happens, everything starts slowly becoming clearer and clearer and clearer. So after the transit of Mercury, after everything cools down towards mid of June, mid of July, the days passes by, you will feel softer, you will feel relaxed. What you should not do is that you should not get frustrated. One worry will definitely come, worry of resources in your life, worry of money in your life, that will haunt you. So don't make unnecessary financial investments, unnecessary plans at this time, and well thought steps can be taken. Because if you're thinking well, if you have planned it enough, then Saturn and Jupiter will handle most of the situation in a positive way. This is also the time where you might have to pull back your investment because of a court case, because of an allegation, because of something negative that is going behind your back. So always keep a watch about the things going behind your back, and come out clear as much as you can. Use social media wisely in this time frame, because any action done will be registered and action may be taken against malpractice. So information is very valuable during this transit. Because of the Mercury instability, mind is going to go unstable. So you have to practice meditation and practice pranayam. You can also chant Buddha Bij mantra. That will also be of great help. I know this transit was slightly technical. Please let me know if you like this kind of technical videos which also have some technical elements and also some elements for someone who is a layman, general public. This transit was confusing. That is why I opened so many tabs. I explained you through such measures, but try to understand. Mercury transit, when goes into one house, goes back to the other house, goes retrograde, it's always complicated because Mercury is a very fast moving planet. I hope you like this video, and if you like, do not forget to hit like, subscribe and share and hit the bell icon so that you never miss another update. This is your host Punneit. We'll meet in the next video. Till then, namaste.